We're trekking across the Knoydart Peninsula to reach the Old Forge, the most remote pub in Great Britain. Since leaving Glenfinnan, we've battled through sketchy campsites, treacherous weather and powerful rivers. After marching hours without a real rest, we had finally reached Sowerley's Bothy, and I managed to doze off on a small bench. I woke up quite refreshed after my first sleep of the walk. I'd only had 2 hours sleep in the 40 hours leading up to Sowerley's Bothy. The rest of the team kindly offered to sleep outside, since I had the unlucky spot on the first night and there was only room for one in the crowded Bothy. With this heroic gesture on their part, the balance of suffering had been restored. We'd all experienced an equal amount of hardship, and no one could envy anyone else. The gang then went inside to start cooking breakfast, but I had other plans.
Hello and welcome to another exciting installment of Eating Camp Food with Stu. I can't remember what I called the first segment. We're on the Saturday now. I'm doing stewed steak and new potatoes, both from tins. Is it edible cold? That's the main question. It's certainly a different meal when it's cold, but I'd say it's still edible. There'll be a lot of protein, and you can pretend the potatoes are healthy as well, so yeah, pretty decent. 3 or 4 out of 5. My friend Chris showed me this recipe. I'm used to having it warm, but it works quite well cold as well. I sort of lost track of the vlogging thing yesterday. I got very wet and very tired, but I think I got some footage in. Just slept in a body today, and things are feeling a lot more upbeat. I'm told there's only about a 8 or so hour walk until we get to Inverie. Looking around the area, you can really see that, you can tell why it's not connected to the mainland. You would really struggle to get roads and cars through all these valleys. I'm looking forward to getting this finished today. Finally get to see this old forge I've been hearing about.
Once breakfast was complete, we struck the tents and began the walk, but not before I gave a motivational speech to boost group morale.
And so we were off. The level of enthusiasm in my voice is completely artificial. Oh, it's a bit grim, it's a bit rainy. But we're this far now. Even if we wanted to bail, the easiest way to do that is to get to Inverie, so let's do this.
Today's walk began with a tricky stroll around a slippery mountain.
Son, we're up here, come on! Don't give us back to the rain!
Our glimpse of sunlight didn't last long, and we were soon marching through an ugly bog. Our boots rarely found dry ground as we skirted along the River Canach. But lucky us, this time around we had a bridge over the river. Following this, we climbed yet another mountain. It was a tough climb, and we were shattered by the end of it.
Ready whenever you guys are. What's Don got?
My lunch, Lou's lunch.
Okay. You taunting him, Louis?
Yeah, you got 10 seconds when it goes down. Oh, they would fight. It's all there.
Shortly after we left the Bothy, I discovered, to my horror, the GoPro camera had run out of battery. But I've been charging it for the past 2 hours while we've climbed a mountain, the actual mountain which cuts off Inverie from the rest of the world, and now we're scaling down the other side. Weather-wise, we've had a mix of horrible rain, horrible wind, but also the occasional sunspot, which is pretty good.
Very occasional.
Yeah, like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring the mood up here, guys. People will be watching this expecting like a glowing review of the Scottish Highlands, and here we are just slagging off its horrible weather. Oh God, and terrain. Yeah, I'm walking through a literal bog. We were wondering whether it was a bog or a marsh earlier. Jury's still out on that. And yeah, I'm walking with a limp because my legs have failed me. So, pretty good. A few more hours yet though, and we will have completed the hardest bar crawl in this great island.
Coming down the mountain, we were faced with the usual wet paths and cloudy weather, but an exciting surprise was lurking round the corner.
What a beautiful meadow. It's all been worth it, Dom. It's been worth the limp.
Just this one moment.
Just this one moment. But it's on camera, Dom, so this is... For us, it's like 0.001% of the walk, but for the video, it might be like 2%.
Yeah, that's the truth. It feels like
Especially the longer I leave this clip running. Alright, that's enough of that.
The weather had turned so beautiful, we decided to stop for a quick lunch break. In hindsight, this was a mistake.
My roll map is gone. Everything's going everywhere. Oh, this is the worst picnic ever.
it changes so rapidly.
Everything's going wrong. Give me some avocado like an apple. We get the spam, it's not worth it.
I'm eating a ball if I can get.
They're absolutely useless now, they've become muddy. Is Louis actually still making tea? No, he's not. No, my bag. My naked bag.
What a lunch.
What a lunch.
Didn't eat anything. It comes from like over there to here in like minutes.
Deary me. Deary me.
After our harrowing attempt at lunch, we began our final march towards our ultimate destination.
I think I can get a shot of that cross from afar. Actually, I'll actually check if it's filming it. It's filming the area, but I don't know if it's going to come out. There's a very thin line. Right, we have just spotted a monument on a hill, which I know from my research is a hill which possibly overlooks Inverie. If it doesn't overlook it, then it's very close to Inverie. It's some sort of cross on a stick. No, the cross is the stick. It's some sort of cross on a mound, which might look very impressive in person. But right now it signals the end of the walk. We're so close now. The weather isn't raining currently. Hey. We can do this. Hey. The Old Forge awaits. Woo.
The Brocket Memorial was placed by Lord Brocket of Knoydart in 1938 to honour his family. Lord Brocket is best known for being a Nazi sympathiser who would host supporters of Nazi Germany in his estate. Brocket relocated the original settlers from this area, leading to the ruins we saw on this trail, and became an absentee landlord who would visit for hunting. After the war, 7 Highland soldiers tried to reclaim this empty estate in a land raid protest, but Lord Brocket had them evicted. Perhaps not a shining beacon of morality, but the monument provides a good landmark nonetheless.
What's up? Final push! You're not gonna stop me now, wind!
Definitely on the last hour now.
The Highlands blasted us with a vicious coastal wind, but we could be delayed no longer. We had finally arrived at the outskirts of Inverie.
We are there, right on the edge of the map. Old Forge pub, a tea room with pottery.
Do we have tea? Was it just pottery?
We finally reached the outskirts of the fabled village of Inverie. Right now we're going to the campsite, and once we've done that, we will head to the Old Forge to finish the hardest bar crawl in Great Britain. And what a nightmare of a bar crawl this has turned out to be. Definitely earns the title that I'm going to be putting on this thumbnail.
We passed the forest and also went by a warning sign, which only confirmed our insanity, and went to pitch up in an incredibly windy coastal campsite. We then set off for the pub, passing some interesting attractions.
And here we have Stuart Morris, the great explorer, exploring the rope swing.
Where's it going?
And then we had finally done it. We had reached the Old Forge. All our trials, the weather, the pain, paled into insignificance in its grand presence, right up until we saw the notice in the window. It was closed for refurbishment.
So, here we are. Come all this way to the Old Forge and it's shut. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I knew that the pub wouldn't be open when we came here. Unfortunately, we had to book this trip quite far in advance and we didn't know exactly when they'd be reopening. I was hoping to drop in when it was open, but I guess I've just about missed out on this one. Supposedly, it's opening in a few weeks though, so pretty soon that is going to be the most remote pub in Great Britain. So, what does this mean then? Well, in a sense, we haven't really managed to do what we came out here to do, but if anyone's going to watch York Review, then you'll know there is a slight caveat here.
We are interested in every place within the walls which serves alcohol to the general public, a definition which includes shops like Tesco.
I don't think that's the only pub in Inverie.
We weren't prepared to give up hope, and so turning to my more relaxed definition of a pub, we headed to the village restaurant. Unfortunately, this was closed too, and we didn't have much more luck at Inverie's third pub, the brewery. Time and time again we were turned away, but we had one final trick up our sleeves to save the bar crawl.
You see, I would consider a pub to be any building which serves alcohol to the general public, including shops like Tesco, or in this case, the Inverie Village Shop. No, that's the post office. Oh, it is the shop. Is it? Yes, it is. Here we go. Perfect. Just in the nick of time. Right, well.
Special edition Knoydart Brewery. That's what I want.
Knoydart, how much is it?
$3.50.
So I've gone and got myself a bottle of Knoydart Brewery Special Edition. This is actually the brewery in the village. We passed it on our way to the restaurant. And so without further ado, I will end this one pub bar crawl by having some of this. Cheers. Very good.
With my review finished, I returned to the campsite's hut to celebrate our group's achievement.
Cheers.
And so ended another camping challenge. The full walk was just under 30 miles, but that number doesn't truly do justice to the difficulty of this hike. We scaled mountains, pushed through rivers, marched through bogs, day and night, through rain and wind. It was without question the most difficult walk of my life. We stayed in the campsite overnight and headed over to the ferry the next day. Of course the weather would start to get better now as we strolled on down to the village docks. We were allowed a short glimpse of Inverie in the sun just to show off how beautiful this area could be on a good day, and then we boarded a ferry to take us back to Malig. At the time of recording, the continuous harsh weather sapped morale and energy, and I didn't really appreciate the area I was in. Over the months I've spent editing this video though, I've been surprised with how stunning the Knoydart area actually was. It's a truly inspiring wilderness, with rugged mountains, thick forests and sprawling rivers. The chest-mounted camera was also incredibly useful. It was always ready to start recording even when times were too tough to record properly. It's allowed me to give you a glimpse at the darkest times of the walk, even if that glimpse is mostly from the neck down. Despite the dire situations, I've also been surprised by how much laughter I recorded. I've realised how instrumental the social aspect was in a journey like this. It's not about where you go, but who you go with that makes the difference. I'm not sure if I'll ever return to the Old Forge of Inverie, but if I did, I know exactly who I'd invite first.